Because as it is now, you have people who say, well, listen, even if you go ahead and create or do some other things, we will have the same results. Because as it is now, we could develop far much more than we are or than we have gone. What could this challenge be?
I have talked about the leadership recruitment process.
That's one.
Now, and when you talk about the recruitment process, using the example of maybe South Korea, for instance, or even the United States of America, look at the election that is ongoing now. It is about debates, and that's why we're advocating that, look, in this amendment that is ongoing, we should institute a debate. In South Korea, that had a similar experience with Nigeria.
To make it compulsory or mandatory?
It is compulsory in South Korea for you. Look at the comparison, what happened. Nigeria had started elections in 1922, where we had elections in Lagos area and Calabar. All right? South Korea had their first experience in 1948. Now, when the military were leaving, just like in 1999, those who didn't fight for democracy in South Korea took over. They had so much money. Just as what happened in 1999 in Nigeria. What was the result? In 1960, when they went for the next election, there was ballot box stuffing, rigging, and all that. And they burned down the entire electoral system of South Korea. All right? From the ruins and the ashes of what happened, they set up a new commission. And now, for you to participate in the election, to eliminate all those characters, because then it was your pocket, just as it is today in Nigeria. Once you have money, you are seen to be a leader. So what they decided was, look, what mattered to the Korean people, like Nigeria, like American, like Britain, is the issue about development, as we are arguing today. That for you to contest the election, you would debate on the economy, on education, on health, on security, on all key issues that are contained in the Constitution. So they said, look, I was there. I asked these fundamental questions. And they said, look, the more they introduced debate, and that's what they sought sanity in the electoral process. And that ordinarily, of course, before that time, in an elective office where about 20 people would have expressed interest, the more they introduced debate, because we are going to competencies now. You see, the sources of organization have to do with recruitment policy.
Yeah, but
our political recruitment policy is faulty. That people are saying that because you have money, we have a set in Nigeria. Once you are a billionaire, then you want to go for public office. There's a difference between having money and leadership. People who understand the nuances and practices.
But you see, if you want to talk about the recruitment process.
What I have noticed is that in all of this discussion, most times it boils down to money. Every time we talk about federalism and re-examining our federalism, we seem to, the discussion always, most times, comes back to managing our resources and how almost everything is tied at the federal level. How come?
That is the unfortunate thing. And that's why I said, we must move away from the emphasis, as you rightly say, it's about sharing. Nobody talking about production at the moment. And that's the danger we are faced with at the moment. I told you about the mapping that was done from Sokoto, Kebbi, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Ondo, Lagos, Osun, Ogun, Kogi. There was a conference in Abuja. I was part of that conference that was managed by Otibe Egboso. Every of the young men that we saw there, they have a different vision for Nigeria. They believe that federalism, through what we call fiscal federalism, with all its basic features, that's what they require to move Nigeria forward. They all agreed, because there's nowhere in all parts of Nigeria we don't have resources. I just gave you an example of what happened in South Korea. In fact, Professor Dayton of Oxford University, who said, look, 500 years of history of development has shown that once you have a framework that can accelerate the development, you don't need to have natural resources. That in fact, the most developed nations of the world are the least countries that have natural resources. So the greater resources really is the human capital. And so for Nigeria really, once you have the structure in place and given our current demographics, because by 2030, Nigeria, given our current demographics, is among the few countries that we're having the highest number of young people. And so by 2030, the major resource, even right now, is not going to be oil. But regrettably, as you have said right correctly, emphasis about sharing. I don't have enough. I need more. But the question is, in terms of development, really, you know, like the argument for state creation. The argument will be that you bring government closer to the people. That is rubbish. That is not an argument for that. No, because as we have seen, it cannot be so.
Those who introduced the sharing system, whereby we get natural resource funds, and then we share it across board according to how each state needs it. I'm sure they also had a different vision. Is it because their vision was faulty, or is it because we have implemented their vision without a lack of will?
Mark, where we departed after the military coup of 1966, that's when we started having problems in Nigeria about issues about development. And that's where development ended in Nigeria. Our forefathers, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, Awolowo, Zik, Michael Okpara, this was not their thinking at all. They put in place a template that will take all of us. And so today, when I hear people say, look, we are opposed to national dialogue, we are this and that, I just look at them and laugh. That these are obviously analog minds. If you look at your television, newspaper today, those who destroyed yesterday are the ones today making escapade statements. But I believe that the only way we must go is for us to return back to where we missed it. Because we have enough. Look at Dubai, for instance. The whole of from Niger. We can have our own Dubai here in Nigeria. Because the resources we have now, we can also use it, because my advocacy is that what we have now, we can use it to develop all the resources we have in all parts of Nigeria. And so more resources should go to the states.
Mr. Egini, I can't
down to the local government.
You said the recruitment process is faulty.
Yes.
What role has the electoral body played in this faulty recruitment process that has produced these people, as you say, who've destroyed the system?
By virtue of Section 222 of the Constitution, it is political party that will sponsor candidates, that will contest the process that INEC will midwife. Our business, our job, primarily is to midwife the process. The outcome will be determined by the electorate. It is the candidate you bring that will appear before the people.
Is there no grounds for INEC to step in where you find out that someone has been wrongfully placed in?
At the moment, Section 85, 86 has given us some measure of involvement, participation in the primary process. All right? We don't choose a candidate for political party. It's their business. But our insistence is a due process. That, look, you must go by what your rules have stipulated, as well as the Constitution. So that once you get the primary right, in terms of internal democracy, once you get it right at that level, look at the Edo State election. I had the privilege of watching the debate that you people organized. I saw one of the three candidates. All right? There's somebody I've just seen for the first time. I think the ANPP or so. If you listen to the guy, all right, you will know that, yes, this is a material. And so that is what other countries have instituted. Look at the debate between Obama and Romney today. Issues are identified. Issues are clarified. Issues are defined. But that is not what is going on at the moment. Now, when you even move beyond that of federalism, you will now go to the issue about the civil service and all that. At the moment, I want to say that our civil service is not prepared, cannot cope with the challenge of the kind of development that we want. Because what is going on there is serious. Even when the leadership have said, look, this is the way we should go, you see that there's a problem in the bureaucracy.
Okay, I'm afraid that's how far we can go.
Look at the power sector very quickly. Right. What is going on there? Look at the effort being made. Yes. We have got it to 4,000 something megawatt. But look at people who are interested in ensuring that it does not work. Right. Some people don't want it to work because they are foreign interests who don't want it to happen in Nigeria. Okay, but all of this is a reflection of our lack of commitment individually, because I've seen that more of the problem is not of that of leadership. Maybe finally on this. No. Very, very finally on this. I must say this here. Yeah. as we are going to 2015, one of the challenges we are faced with right now, for example, in INEC, is a situation where, and I'm putting it on the radar of Nigerian people, that those you have asked to perform sensitive assignment, INEC workers are poorly paid to the extent that even those of us who, when we came in, our salary used to be 500,000 naira. Today, a whole professor, a chair of electoral body, earns less than 250,000 naira. My salary is now 205,000 naira. They have introduced some allowances. So 205, is that a recipe for people to be committed? But for some of us, we have made up our mind a long time ago, before we came to government, that at all time, whenever we're in government, we are not there, we're going to make sacrifice for the Nigerian people. Okay, and so the salary structure of INEC must be removed from civil service as we prepare for 2015, because the human element in midwifing a democratic process is very key to its success.